We begin this morning in the heart of British Columbia's Okanagan Valley, where a fast-moving wildfire is ravaging the city of West Kelowna. It is just one of a number of growing fires that have triggered a state of emergency across BC.
It's hindering our abilities to rebuild and recover those populations. You know, a lot of these populations are at record low abundance. They're facing new challenges with climate change and hot weather. And so in Canada, we've adapted a lot of our fisheries, and they're changing to really reduce pressure on harvest.
CWS said Thursday a cluster of wildfires in BC's northeast also caused a portion of Highway 52N, also known as Heritage Highway, to temporarily close.
British Columbia is burning. Oceans are rising, forests are disappearing. Climate change isn't coming, it's already here. It's been here. But the solutions aren't new. They've been here for thousands of years, practiced by Indigenous people across this land. We went around and asked people the question, when you think of how Indigenous people treat the environment, what comes to mind?
So when you think about Indigenous peoples and how they impact the environment, what comes to mind? I think they have a very positive impact on the environment because they're connected to the land.
They try to preserve the environment and not take too much from it.
I think they're very mindful and very respectful of the things that they take, and they make sure to use part of anything.
Well, when you look at traditional values versus Indigenous values, in my BC First Peoples class, we've really learned about how much they care and how interconnected their entire ways of life have been.
Well, actually my class in BCFP just did a trip to Haida Gwaii, and something that the Haida people talked about is one of their core values is always thinking about the future. So whenever they use resources, like they use cedar wood a lot, but whenever they use it, they're thinking about like the future of those resources and whether or not they'll have enough for their future generations to be able to use it.
In doing these interviews, it ultimately revealed that most people do have a basic understanding of the way Indigenous people treat the land. We want to be able to expand their knowledge and hopefully have them incorporate Indigenous environmental practices into their lives. Let's take it back a couple hundred years, before the Europeans landed in North America. Before colonization, Indigenous communities had systems of land care based on observation, respect, and reciprocity. Today, these systems are being revived, and they work. Some could argue that they work better than our modern methods. Cultural burning is one of the main ones. It is the practice of setting small, controlled fires to prevent large, destructive ones. It clears dead bushes and overgrowth, making way for new plant life that is less susceptible to catching on fire. This reduces the risk of large, out-of-control wildfires. Clam gardens are rock walls built at low tide to create ideal habitats for shellfish. They increase food supply, protect the coastline, and store traditional knowledge. These clam gardens have fed the Indigenous populations along the coast for generations. Another farming technique is called the Three Sisters planting. This is where 3 crops, usually corn, beans, and squash, are planted together. They grow together in the same space, creating a symbiotic relationship with one another. The corn grows tall, providing nutrients from the sun. The beans climb the corn and fix nitrogen, and the squash shades the soil, which keeps it moist and soft. It's a system based on balance and mutual support. The most important step we can take towards true environmental stewardship is changing our mentality to reflect the deep respect Indigenous peoples have for the land. Rather than treating nature as a resource to be exploited, we must learn to view it as a living system that we are a part of and responsible for. This shift begins by listening, truly listening to Indigenous voices, respecting their leadership, and embracing the teachings they've passed down for generations. Making this documentary changed how I see the environment. It's crazy to me that nature runs on such a delicate natural balance. Even the littlest change can have major consequences. Protecting the environment is not just about the science, it's about the connection as well. The civilization and the society that we've built has disconnected us with the natural world. We've surrounded ourselves with machines and an industrial environment for so long that we've forgotten how to live without it. Indigenous knowledge isn't ancient history, it's the living truth, and it's time we listened. These practices, cultural burning, clam gardens, and the Three Sisters, they aren't just solutions. They are reminders of the past and what could be the future. Reminders that the land will heal, but only if we let it.